On the TV show Pawn Stars, Rebecca Romney was known as one of the best experts on rare books. Even though she only showed up on the show sometimes, she was still one of the most interesting and busy people, and she was in many more episodes, but she quit the show without telling fans why. Fans have a lot of questions about her quick departure from Pawn Stars, which will be answered in this video. Before we get into the specifics, let's take a quick look at Pawn Stars and how Romney became a large part of it. Pawn shops used to be the most popular way for people in the US to get credit, at least until the 1950s. People were able to make ends meet by using these easy transactions to solve an immediate problem as quickly as possible. One of these places was the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, which was run by 3 generations of the Harrison family: Rick Harrison, his father Richard, also known as the Old Man, his son, and Richard's grandson Corey. The family hired Chumley, Corey's childhood friend, to help run the business. Around the edges of Las Vegas, they both worked in the crazy world of the pawn shop business. Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines of Left Field Pictures came up with the idea for Pawn Stars as a TV show while they were in Las Vegas over the weekend in 2008. They were amazed at how many different things there were in pawn shops. They were interested in more than just the shops. The people who worked in the business were also very interesting. Colby and Brent found the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop and chose to work on their idea with this family-run pawn shop. Rick was already open-minded when they met him. He had been trying for years to get a show based on his shop turned down, but no one had agreed to do it. He had already been in the news once, when he and the shop were in the Las Vegas episode of Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003. Nancy Dubuc, who was president of History at the time, chose to add the show to the network's schedule of popular shows. This made the Harrison family, especially Rick, very happy. At first they called the show Pawning History. Then someone at Left Field offered Pawn Stars, which is a play on the word porn stars. After a lot of tests, the producers chose to have experts evaluate the items that were brought into the Gold and Silver shop. This was important to get people interested in the TV show. The first show aired on July 19, 2009. And the whole first season had 25 episodes, which people really liked. One review of the first season said that the show's cast was great, and that every review was educational. People who watched it thought it was the best show ever, and called it addictive. The National Pawnbrokers Association gave Rick Harrison and the staff at Gold and Silver Pawn Shop the Pawnbroker of the Year award the next year for the attention their show brought to the business. Rick signed an 80-episode extension deal for 4 more seasons of the show in July 2011, which was the most ever. The show quickly rose to the top of the History Channel's list of shows. The show became more interesting and real when experts were brought on TV. This is how Rebecca Romney got in touch with Pawn Stars. Romney didn't have a lot of fans before the show, but now millions of people know her. Not much was known about her life, or how she got to this point, so she stayed mysterious. She was born Rebecca Angelina Enget in Phoenix, Arizona, on April 6, 1985. She has loved reading since she was a child, and would spend time at the library looking through books. She began to learn French and Japanese, and she soon finished from high school in Las Vegas. After that she went to Brigham Young University. She got her minor in philosophy there, and then she doubled her major in classical studies and languages. She learned ancient Greek and Latin, which added to the list of languages she spoke well. In her Ask Me Anything AMA on Reddit, she said, "I can read and speak English, French, Japanese, Latin, ancient Greek, and the other half is Old English. It's so important to me to read books in their original language whenever I can." Romney said that being in the right place at the right time changed her field as a rare book expert. That's how she talked about the process of getting hired as a salesgirl at the well-known old book-selling company Bauman Rare Books in 2007. During a kendo with fans, she told them, "Really what drives me is my job at Bauman Rare Books, a company that has been around for decades and is based in Philadelphia and New York. At our company some people buy books all the time. That's what I really do. I run the company's store in Las Vegas and sell rare books. It's not something I do for a living. Running the store is enough." She was passionate about learning more about rare books, so she chose to go to rare book school. She thought this was the only way to become an expert in old and rare literature. Even though she did get training, it's important to remember that at the time, there was no official degree for selling in rare books. Just 3 years after starting at the company, she became a manager in 2010. She worked hard and was determined, which helped her move up quickly from salesgirl to store manager and then to senior director of the company. In 2010, she was working there when she was hired to add to a Pawn Stars that was already out there. Pawn Stars fans saw Romney on TV for the first time in 2011. The show was already in its 4th season at this point, but this working together didn't happen by chance. Before the show became anything, Romney and Rick knew each other. They already knew each other, and when Rick started collecting and selling old books for a living, he naturally turned to Romney for advice. With the show's 4th season underway, they touched more people and books showed up more often than they thought they would. Rick just brought Romney the book expert he knew. Romney went into even more detail. "We're friends. We've gone on double dates and other things, but that was after we spent time together making the show." Romney was in charge of judging the value of the books that people brought into the shop on the show. Her ability to use her natural eye well and her deep knowledge of books made her a great candidate for a job. When this kind of book was brought in, Romney would be told what it was before shooting began. She also said, "I do sometimes work as a consultant for Rick behind the scenes, but most of the time I come in to film, which could be once a month or 3 times a week. When they find a book they want to film with is what matters." It's not always like that in show business though. Sometimes the thing isn't even what she was told to deal with. Romney said, "There are a lot of books out there for me. Of course, I don't remember all the specifics, bibliographic points, etc. about every book that exists, but I do remember a good chunk of it." Anyone who is an expert in that field will tell you that another part of being an expert is knowing where to find reliable information. So, for the most part, I need to know something before I go in. Romney wasn't a full-time guest expert on the show, so they had to call him ahead of time. A source said that she worked full-time at an exhibition and couldn't just drop everything and go over there whenever. People saw a very interesting side of buying and selling books when Romney worked as a rare book trader. She knew a lot about old rare books and papers when she was on Pawn Stars. She was both the bad guy and the good guy for the show's main cast in her part. She almost stopped filming Pawn Stars one time because someone wasn't taking care of a rare book right. Another time was in season 6, when she saved Chumley's job by herself, after he quickly sold a copy of Charles Lindbergh's W.E. The famous pilot was said to have signed the copy, and Chumley sold it for just $500. Luckily for him, Romney quickly checked to see if the autograph was real, and found that the rare copy of the book was worth $1,500. In a memorable case involving an old copy of Henry David Thoreau's Walden that was offered by a hopeful buyer looking for a large sum of money, Romney decided that the book's English origin made it worth only $100, even though it was a first edition. She bought a very rare book of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain for $5,500 for the store. She also said that a very rare book from 1779, by Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben, was worth $118,000. She said that she could value books at her own store for more than $100,000, which shows how knowledgeable she is in the subject. During her work, she has sold single books for $500,000. These have included books from Isaac Newton's and Queen Elizabeth I libraries, as well as more than one Shakespeare folio. Romney really became a star while she was on Pawn Stars. That's why, even though she was the only woman, she was one of the longest-running experts on Pawn Stars. She gained a lot of loyal fans who loved old books through the show. She was on the show for several seasons, and then just went without a trace. This made her fans start to wonder where she was, and why she quit the show. Fans found out why when they learned that Romney was very smart, and had been promoted to an even higher position in Bauman Rare Books. As of 2014, she was in charge of human resources, which meant she led research, came up with marketing plans, and oversaw deals. Because of this, she had to move from Las Vegas to Philadelphia, which is where Bauman Rare Books is based. She couldn't get to Pawn Stars because it was too far away. While it had been a few seasons since she last appeared on the show to talk about books as an expert, fans were still confused by the fact that her LinkedIn page still said Pawn Stars Expert. Romney had updated her social media accounts, but didn't say that she was no longer a part of the Pawn Stars family. Also, no one in the group was talking about her absence. When her fans asked if the show was fake, Romney spoke out in favor of it. They are still a working pawn shop. Yes, they now have swag in half of the space, but they still buy and sell other things. As far as I know, I've never been in an expert scene where the seller or the thing was planted. Mitt Romney, who ran for president in 2008, is related to her through her marriage to J.P. Romney, who is an author and book lover. Her husband writes young adult books and studies history. His latest book is called The Monster on the Road Is Me. She moved to Philadelphia to work at Bauman Rare Books after her wedding because that's where her husband was from. There, she was in charge of the company's main activities, bought libraries, and made sure that catalogs were made. Romney had some fans who were afraid that fame would cause her problems, just like it had for other television stars. Somebody asked Romney about how the attention she gets from Pawn Stars fans because she is smart and pretty, and how that affects her marriage. That was a sad answer from her. Well, I'm on TV, and that's what happens to a woman on TV. I have to admit that it gets annoying when people tell me they don't care about my books, they only care about how I look. But once more, I'm on TV. I expect and get a variety of responses. She also said, having said that, I do expect and ask that people treat me with respect as a person. She said this about her husband's reaction, he just thinks it's funny. In 2016, the two of them started a book show called Biblioclast. It ran for about a year. They talked about how much they both loved reading. Even though the podcast was only around for a short time, Romney got even more fans because she was honest. In 2017, the two of them wrote a book together called Printer's Error: Irreverent Stories from Book History and the Romance Novel in English, a survey in Rare Books, 1769-1999. It's a collection of stories about people who work in the book printing business and with writers. Along with their marriage, they have 2 children. Romney is still busy with her books, even though she isn't on Pawn Stars anymore. That's not the only thing Romney likes to do. She is known as a generalist rare book dealer, because she deals with a wide range of books, from first copies of Jane Austen to science fiction paperbacks. Romney worked at Bauman Rare Books from 2007 to 2016, which everyone knows. Romney worked at Honey and Wax, a rare bookstore, from 2016 to 2019, after leaving the movie business. In 2019, she and her business partner Brian Cassidy started their own company called Type Punch Matrix. She wrote the foreword for the Feminist Press's reissue of Judy Rose in 2019. Judy Rose is part of Suzette Haden Elgin's feminist science fiction trilogy that comes before The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It was said that she would be back on TV in the same year, and fans thought it was for Pawn Stars. They were let down when they found out it was for a documentary called The Booksellers. Since she values her privacy a great deal, there are no signs that she will ever go back to reality TV. It's clear that she doesn't agree with the idea that people on reality TV shows are willing to let everyone know everything about them. Still, Romney doesn't like talking about her personal life. Anyone who knows her knows that everything she talks about with the public has to do with her job as a rare book dealer. She really loves what she does, and wants to share information with anyone who might be interested. Romney once had a WordPress blog with the same name as the blog. The domain is still live, but the website has been made private. No one knows if she's going to start writing again. In 2020, she put together Projections, a collection of science fiction stories from as early as 1836 that predicted some parts of modern life. Romney is a collector of female science fiction, especially association copies. A lot of the books she is interested in come from the work she does as a rare book dealer. Her next book from Simon & Schuster, due out in 2025, is called Jane Austen's Bookshelf, and is about how she gathered books by Austen's favorite women writers. The Bibliographical Society of America has put her on its council, and the Antiquarian Book Seminars have put her on their board and taught at the Antiquarian Booksellers Association of America, ABA, the American Antiquarian Society, the Grolier Club, and the Baker Street Irregulars are some of the groups she belongs to. He helped start the Honey and Wax Prize with another person. She sells books and writes. The New York Times, The Atlantic, Forbes, Variety, the Paris Review and other publications have written about her work. She lives in Washington, D.C. at the moment. How is the Pawn Stars show going? The truth is that Pawn Stars has been through a lot since Romney left. Richard Harrison died on June 25, 2018, at the age of 77. He was the grandfather and founder of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop and a regular on history's Pawn Stars. The old man died after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. Richard's son Rick, who helps run the store with him, wrote an Instagram ode to his late father. Adam Harrison, Rick's second son, died early in 2024. Adam lost his life in Las Vegas, Nevada, on January 19. He was 39 years old. There was a statement saying that Adam had died of an overdose of fentanyl. In an interview, his father said, "The fentanyl crisis in this country must be taken more seriously." Even though there was tragedy, Pawn Stars Season 23 was revealed to be in the works. Rick, Big Hoss and Chumley will be back as usual. People all over the world watch the show, which is now dubbed in 38 languages and shown in about 150 countries. It was said that filming for Season 23 began in February 2024, which suggests that the show might air later that same year. Rick said that the three of them seem to enjoy being with each other and aren't upset about spending so much time together. That's good, because filming doesn't always go as planned. There could be problems with the equipment, 14-hour days, and quick meals because no one has time to eat a real meal. Fans are glad that the team always finds a way to make exciting shows of the popular show, even when things get tough. People who like Rebecca Romney can still keep up with her even though she isn't on Pawn Stars anymore because Romney is always on social media with YouTube videos, shorts, and reruns.